I'm going to start with this one, first one. This one is very simple. This is the first one. To build a prospering country, the cornerstones of a society need to be established. We will require capable workers who will have to be supplied with provisions. Even the best craftsmen will struggle to construct a kingdom on an empty stomach. So, this is Terrascape. We have our landscape, which is of course made of hexagons. Also note, it is floating in the sky. One of the more interesting features of this game, for sure. Unlike a dwarf, where you're just sort of surrounded by a featureless void, we are canonically floating in the sky in defiance of all physics in this game. So what do we have? We have a landscape made up of tiles, which can be things like grass or water or forest. And then we have resources. And resources are things like these deer, or these berry bushes, or this stone. There is actually a button that you can press which will show the resources. I tend to play with this button on just because it makes it easier to see what's what. So wood is a resource in the forests, the rivers, the deer and so on. First thing we do is place our keep. This building doesn't actually do anything itself, but other buildings benefit from it, so it's good to place it in like an open area. Let me put it here. So this starts off as just, a muddy mound with a fence around it. Slowly turns into a castle as you level up. This screen you have each of these little icons, which we can only choose 2 of at the moment. This is like a mini pack of cards, and whichever one you choose, it adds those cards to the cards that you're able to play. We can only choose from settlement or basic food, but we have a little quest up here at the top that says unlock settlement, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. And look, we have a keep, and that's our little emblem on it. The reason I have a triangle as my emblem is because I've just started a new profile, and that's the only emblem you can have. Normally I have a flower, you will be unsurprised to hear, but you have to unlock the emblems as you progress. And we have ourselves a nice little defensive structure here. Ren says, oh no, hang on, I've missed some chat. Eltibago says, I've spent most of the week being a space garbage man, although it kind of feels more like being a beta tester. Alfie says it's like book, but then the T in front. Oh, I see. Chuk. Yes, okay, I get it. You've seen Hard Space Shipbreaker? Asks Ren to Tibago. And Tibago says, I have, it's in my backlog. Resource icons are useful to have, says Harry. I agree. Okay. So down here at the bottom of our screen, we're going to get cards as the game progresses. Right now we have just these cards. These are cottages. Every card in the game scores points or loses points based on the terrain around it. So you can see if you can... is there a way to turn up the UI scale on this game? I don't think there is. No, okay. You probably can't see on the stream because it's very, very small text. But it tells you which other buildings gain or lose points for cottages. And so every building has its own synergies and anti-synergies. It reminds me very much of Islanders, for anyone who's played that. In a way, this is sort of a grid-based 2D version of Islanders. And one thing that cottages do get points from is this. This is a megalith. This is kind of a resource, except not quite. These are actually called blockers because you can't build on them. So I can build on the deer, and then the deer is removed when you build on it. But you can't build on one of these. But it does give you points for your cottages. Cottages also get points from themselves, so if I place next to another cottage, there's like a synergy there. And then perhaps the most interesting aspect of this game for me is the fact that you can combine these buildings into larger buildings, and it actually shows you on the left here. You can see I've got a bunch of question marks here at the moment. These are all the sort of larger buildings that you can make. And it's not going to tell me what the building is, but it is going to tell me I need to put 4 cottages together. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that happens. And suddenly we have ourselves a longhouse. So this is one giant building that takes up 4 hexes and is made up of 4 cottages. And these have their own unique synergies, so there are buildings that will gain points from longhouses that wouldn't have gained points from cottages. They also, some of these, I mean every building kind of does something different, but one of the things that the large buildings can do is give you extra cards. So you'll see I now have this remove resource card. That was given to me for making the longhouse. So if I decide, oh, I dislike this deer in particular, I can delete it. And I actually score 20 points for deleting it as well. There are situations where you do want to destroy resources, not particularly at the moment, but later on. El Tibago says, I'm 100% convinced that the No Man's Sky Garbage Man update is just a beta test for hauling ship-based cargo in light no fire. Maybe. Have you tried out that update, Alex? I know you've been playing a bit of No Man's Sky. Poor dear, says Cassie. Don't worry, there is an undo button. You can always undo your last action, so you can bring the deer back. I will save this card until I need it. So our current quest is we need to place 8 cottages with rating at least silver. When I place a building, you'll notice the point value changing colour. The worst possible, well actually no, the worst possible colour is red, and that's if you're losing points from the building. I don't think it's possible to score negative with a cottage on this map. But 0 points is grey, and then anything that gets you more points, first of all, yeah, like that's bronze, and then that's silver. And then that's gold. So that's like a gold rating. And that sort of gives you an idea of how good of a placement you're doing for that building. Because there are buildings that can score a lot of points. So with a cottage, get anything over about 30 is gold. There are buildings where the score won't turn gold until you score like 200 or 300 points. And the highest tier of points is diamond. If you score diamond points, the game is so pleased with you, it actually rewards you with a diamond. You can see at the bottom here I have this little diamond thing with a 0 next to it. Let me see if I can, there we go, yeah. So by placing one there, this placement is now worth a diamond value. And I have a little diamond at the bottom now. Let me just go ahead and make another long piece. Diamonds let you re-roll which pack of cards you want to get. Obviously, at the moment, I've only unlocked one pack, so that's not going to do anything. The other thing you can do is trade. There is a trading thing where you can basically get rid of your existing cards in exchange for stars, and then use those stars to trade for another card. Now, in this case, I would be spending 2 cottages and a remove resource to get back 2 cottages, which would be stupid, so I'm not going to do that. But that's the other thing you can use diamonds for. You can re-roll the trading screen. I am not going to do a trade at the moment. Instead, I'm going to unlock the basic food deck. Each of these decks consists of 4 cards, and to start with, you can only play the first card in the deck. So in the basic food deck, the first card is a Gatherer Hut. Gatherer Hut mostly benefits from these berry bushes. So you can see if I place one in an area with lots of berry bushes, I get a lot of points. Yeah, I think 120 is probably the most I can get for one of these. And there is another special building if you put 3 Gatherer Huts together like this. Let me go ahead and do that. And we have ourselves a fruit farm. We have also, as it says at the top here, because we scored enough with the Gatherer Huts, we've unlocked the second card in the basic food deck, which is a hunting cabin. Hunting cabins, as you might expect, score points from these deer. Sorry, Cassie, I know you weren't too happy about what happened to the deer before. The good news is placing a hunting cabin doesn't actually remove the deer, so this is clearly sustainable hunting, because look, the deer are still there. And I also scored a diamond score with that building as well. There is a little meter up here in the corner, which is telling me how close I am to unlocking the next building. So, score points with basic food buildings to unlock the next one. So there's only 30 more points. Pretty sure I can score 30 points with one of these. There we go. Now I've unlocked the third card in basic food, which is a wheat field. Now we get to see how do the fields in Terrascape compare with the fields in Dwarf. And I have to say, I think Terrascape does a better job with its fields. There's definitely a little bit more detail to them than the Dwarf fields. And they do have animation to them as well. Fun fact, this game and Dwarf were in development around the same time. Neither game stole from the other one in any way. They were both developing a game with hexagonal landscapes. And both games have a windmill. This game has a windmill as one of the tiles that you can place. We haven't unlocked it yet. And when it was first released, because Dwarf had like an alpha testing phase and this didn't, this was released after Dwarf. And everybody said, oh, you've got a windmill, you rip off of Dwarf. So the devs actually posted some screenshots of an alpha version to prove that they had a windmill in their game before Dwarf was released. Anyway. The advantage of having played this game before is I do know what all of these large buildings look like. So I'm sort of going through them quite quickly. If this was my first playthrough, there'd be a lot more experimentation to figure out, okay, how exactly do we make these large buildings? What you can do with the wheat fields is you place 3 of them like this, and then you place a cottage. And that makes a farmstead. When you place a farmstead, it gives you a wheat field. But what it also does, and this is quite an interesting game mechanic, quite a lot of the large buildings do this, they change the biome of the surrounding tiles when you build them. So when I built the longhouse, the surrounding hexagons, the biome which is like the underlying ground. So you see here, this tile still has deer on it, but previously it was deer on grass, and now it's deer on rural biome. Rural biome benefits some buildings, like cottages get a bonus of 20 points if they're placed on rural biome. And some tiles do less well. So you can see, for example, wheat fields score 35 if they're placed on grass, but they lose 10 if you place them on rural. So you really end up, there's quite deep strategy to having like rural type buildings in one place and urban type buildings in other places and farm type buildings in other places. So when I completed my fruit farm, that changed all the surrounding tiles to grass. When I completed my farmstead, that changed all the surrounding tiles to grass. And you can exploit that because, for example, if I wanted to build a farm over here in this forest, I wouldn't score anything for placing these wheat fields because it's just trees. But what I could do is I can place 2 wheat fields here on the grass, and I can place a cottage, and then that's going to clear. You see how these are now grass? So now I get points for placing the wheat fields here. So you can slowly kind of advance through the forest and turn it into grass. El Tivago says there's going to be deforestation at some point in this game, isn't there? Yeah, Tibago may have made that comment right as I destroyed this forest. Why do you hate trees? Tibago, you will be very pleased to hear about 2 features that are coming later in this game. One is that there are buildings that specifically require forests. And the other is that one of the scenarios actually forces you to not cut down the trees. You have to... if you destroy more than a certain number of trees, you fail. So don't worry, the devs have thought of that, and they have put in mechanics to counter you just wanting to flatten the entire landscape and build on it. There are cards that require you to have trees, don't worry. Ren says we're displacing the native wildflowers too. There's not a lot in the way of flowers in this game. There are lilies in the water, which we will not be displacing. Not yet anyway, because we haven't unlocked any water buildings. And there are flowers on the berry bushes. When you complete a fruit farm, the game actually gives you 2 berry bushes. So, Ren, far from displacing the native flowers, I shall place some more. There we go. And then I'll plonk a gather hut right in the middle because that's loads of points. Windmills are cool, that's why they're in both. I agree, 53 New Wave, I very much agree. Harry says now that's a good field tile. Yes, I don't know if Ophelia is aware of this game or has played this game. She would like this game, I think, because, yes, fields that look realistic. Anyway, we need to continue with our quests. We have a quest to create 6 longhouses now. We've created 2. Let me go ahead and create some more. Cottages do score points for being next to rivers, so this is a good place to put one. This button on the right here This is kind of your draw cards button. Every time you press it, you get a choice of which deck you want to draw cards from. You can also draw cards like this that change the biome. So if I took this, I'd be able to turn 3 of these grass tiles into arid tiles. I don't know why you'd want to turn anything into arid. It's not a very good biome. If you run out of draws, so this number goes down to 0, and you've used all your cards up, then the game is over. But you earn more draws by earning more points. Certainly in the first few scenarios, it's quite hard to lose because it gives you a lot of card draws. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and place a few more. Another river. No, okay, I'll put them over here. Just a few more long houses. There you go. There is one other sort of large building that we can create, actually. This is perhaps one of my favourite large buildings, and I think it might be Alex's favourite. You need a well, a cottage, and a megalith. So you have to rely on the landscape giving you a megalith to use. And that makes a sanctuary. It's kind of like Stonehenge, except without the crowds of people and having to pay to see it, and you're allowed to go up and touch the stones. So it's better than Stonehenge. There is also a big version of this, which you can unlock later in the game, but it requires, where is it? I don't know where it is. There it is. Yeah, you need 6 megaliths to make this one, so it's a bit of a challenge. But when you make a sanctuary, so it takes a megalith, a cottage, and a well, the game actually rewards you with a megalith and 2 more cottages. So sanctuaries are pretty good to make because obviously you get another megalith, you can go and make another one somewhere else. So as long as you have wells, as long as you have well cards, you can basically make unlimited sanctuaries. Like I can make one there, I can go and make one here. The downside of sanctuaries is basically cottages score extra points from sanctuaries, but not really much else scores extra points from sanctuaries. So you can't just fill the entire map with sanctuaries, but you know, you totally can fill the entire map with sanctuaries. It's a free country. Altivago says, I was hoping for a cheese house. This game does not have cheese houses, however, it does have a dairy industry, so we might get something close to a cheese house later in the game. We'll have to see. For now, I'm just going to do the quests that the game wants me to do. So it wants me to create another fruit farm. Let's go and find a good place for one of those. Over here with all these berries sounds like a good idea. Place a hunting cabin, we've done that one. Place 5 wells. Well, if we're going to have to place another well, I might as well make another sanctuary out of it. By the way, you'll be seeing these pop-ups every so often. They're not achievements, but they're kind of mini achievements within the game, which rank up your in-game profile, which then unlocks more things. There are achievements as well, but they won't pop up because I've already got them all on Steam. And I didn't reset my Steam achievements, I just reset the in-game profile. The achievements are mostly just like complete all the scenarios, complete the puzzles, place a certain number of this building, and so on. There is one achievement that's actually quite interesting, which I think is you need to get to a certain score whilst only ever placing gold-rated buildings. So you can't place any bronze or silver or nothing rated. That's actually the rarest achievement. Only 1% of players have that. So once we've done the scenarios, I might actually do a run through of that and try and get it again. Okay, just wants us to place some more wheat fields. That. See if we can get another. We should try and unlock the final basic food item as well. Okay, yes, so actually we need to unlock. That's what this this quest is, unlock cattle pasture, which is the final item in the basic food deck. So we have to score 1200 points to get there. Fortunately, we have plenty of foods. In fact, yeah, we can score very well with these huts on account of how many berry bushes I've placed. How are we doing? Okay, we literally need 15 more points. There we go. We have unlocked the cattle pasture. Cows. Moo cows. Cows unsurprisingly benefit from being around other farmland. Also, unlock some place game. There we are. Look, far from hunting all of the deer, we are actually placing more of them. And then we're placing a hunting cabin in the middle of it, but ignore that bit. Okay, what else do we need to do? Oh, create manor farm. Yes, this is the other building we can create. So there are cottages and there are houses, and they're kind of different. Cottages benefit from being in rural areas, so they like to be around sanctuaries and farms and so on. Whereas houses like to be in an urban area. They benefit from being around the keep, and they benefit from being around other houses. And later on in the game, you unlock other city buildings like markets and stuff like that. And houses benefit from those. But you need houses to make this building, which is quite a big one. You need an entire hexagon worth of space for it. And then, oh yeah, don't put... For some reason, cottages love being next to sanctuaries and houses hate being next to sanctuaries. They prefer being next to churches, which you unlock later on. So the houses are full of Christians, whereas the cottages are full of pagans. I mean, I know which I'd rather be. I would rather be out in nature with a sanctuary and a field and not too much Christianity. But this is how you make a manor farm. Yay! So because we completed all of the main quests, the end screen has popped up, but I want to complete these bonus ones as well before we carry on. Here is the manor farm. I approve of the little vegetable garden and the formal hedge garden that they've got there. Okay, what do we need to do? Earn points by placing well. Right, I need to actually score points with the wells instead of just building sanctuaries with them. There, and then another one. Okay. Wait, 10 city districts. Wait, 10 city districts? That's a lot. So city district is made up of 4 houses, a bit like a longhouse, but with houses instead of cottages. Not quite sure how I'm going to make 10 of them, to be honest with you. I'll give it a go. Ah, there we are, yeah. So that unlocks Market, which is the last building in the settlement deck. I wonder if I actually got all of the bonus quests when I played this through the first time. I might not have, actually. This one does seem difficult. I suppose the first scenario is so generous with its card draw that maybe you just get enough cards. That's 4. There we are, suddenly making a very large city here. And you'll notice I've left a gap here. That gap is intentional because I can put a market in here. This is a demonstration of how the point values sort of scale differently for different buildings. This house would score 170 points, which is a lot for a house, which is why it's diamond coloured. But I can score 215 instead of 170 if I put a market there instead. But that's only gold coloured because sort of the potential for a market is much higher because it gets points for so many different things. So I'll put that there. Okay, still need 5 more city districts. I think we probably will get them. Oh, I forgot these. This is probably my favourite card. The beehives. This is unlocked by building manor farm, I think. Yeah, if you build a manor farm, it unlocks a beekeeper. Bees like berries. They also like forests. They also like the fruit farms. So they're quite happy to buzz around the fruits as well as the natural berries. Let me see if I can get how high a score I can get with the bees. 195 is not bad, but I feel like I can do better. Let me place some more berries. Put some more gathering huts down. How's that looking? Ooh, 295. You can score incredibly high with a beekeeper. Me and Alex did test this out once, and I think we managed to score about 1,300 points with a single beehive. That was fun. Okay. 305, that'll do. Those are some happy bees. Okay, let me finish off these quests now. Not sure what the people in this manor house think of the rapidly approaching urban sprawl. The game told me to do it. Okay. Right, we can't get planning permission to build over here. We're going to have to build over here. There we go. That's, oh no, that's right. That's settlement 3, but we still need 1 more city district. Okay. space down here. We did it! Okay, that's all of the quest for that scenario. So we are done. And you get bonus points at the end for whatever cards you had left over unused at the end. And then that's your final score. Oh, we also leveled up. I'll continue. Okay, I think it's supposed to take you back to the scenario menu. I'm not sure what happened there. So, yes, we were just talking about how deforestation is not always the answer. The next scenario is Timberland. A kingdom can only flourish if it is rooted in a robust society. For this, we will need villages and cities in which the townsfolk can thrive and are supplied with important goods. We should make sure we have a plentiful supply of good timber to carry out our ambitious plans. Well then. Okay. So we now have a forestry deck. The game still wants me to unlock settlements first, so I shall do so. Okay. Where would be a good place to put some cottages? Probably next to this river. Okay. So create some long houses, unlock houses. We shall do just that. You get 10 points for every river tile a cottage is adjacent to. So here, for example, is a great spot for a cottage. Hello, Verdsky.
2?
2, says Verdsky. Yes, Verdsky, you have indeed been subscribed to me for 2 whole years. I know, I can't believe it myself. Bestest Verdsky, it is awesome to see you. Thank you so much for your continued support of Emma Stream. I will do a quick shout out for Best Verdsky because Verdsky is awesome. They always start their stream off with a crossword. They have their own crossword-based theme song that plays whenever they finish the crossword, and then they play some games after. Verdsky says, hello my friend, I am rarely out of my hermit cave lately. That's quite okay, Verdsky, it's always good to see you whenever you are here. Thank you for redeeming round-leaved wintergreen as your flower of the day, and thank you for keeping the streamer hydrated by redeeming drink water. Let me quickly offer Verdsky a hug. See how nicely our emotes fit together, my emote and Verdsky's emote. Verdsky, I don't know if you're familiar with this game. It's called Terrascape, and it involves building a landscape on hexagons, which if you've seen me play Dwarf, you'll know that that's something I enjoy doing. Okay, 2 more long houses needed. an interesting little development we're creating here. We're fortunate to have these very winding rivers on this map, which give us lots of points for our cottages. Okay. Create Royal Forest is the next quest. So we get to unlock the forestry pack. And we get to do stuff. So the first card is a lumberjack. Once again, we believe in sustainable forestry here. So placing the lumberjack doesn't destroy the surrounding trees, but it does derive points from them. It gives us foresters. This is how you make the royal forest. So in addition to using the existing trees, you can plant more trees of your own, as I shall now demonstrate, by making this building, which is a royal forest. So these center 4 hexes, this is a building, but when you build the building, it spawns in trees all around. So it changes the biome to thicket and it adds forest. So you are actually creating more trees. And not only that, it gives you a place forest card to create even more trees. So I do like this game's approach to the landscape. It's like, it doesn't just reward you for obliterating the landscape with buildings, it does encourage you to keep some natural resources around as well. Which is more than can be said for a lot of similar games. I mean, obviously it's still an oversimplification of real world, but that's fine. Of course it's going to be. Erdsky says, I see we've got more lovely hexagons to play with here. We have indeed, yes, that's Emma's favourite thing. Hexagons everywhere. Let's make some more for us. We got to make 4 of them, so keep going here. There we go. And we have unlocked the next card in the forest deck, which is a sawmill. So a sawmill gets a small number of points directly from forests, but it gets more points from lumberjacks and royal forests. So there's a kind of hierarchy of the cards, which roughly sort of mimics real world kind of production chains. You've got the forester card first, which doesn't earn points from any of the other cards, just from the natural landscape. Then you've got the lumberjack, which benefits from the forests. Then you've got the sawmill, which benefits from the lumberjacks and the forests. And then the final card, I think, is the charcoal burner, which benefits from all the other cards. So you're sort of moving along with what you can do with the forestry resources. And each successive card is more difficult to unlock, but also offers more points. Like the lumberjack, you see the range of the lumberjack is only the 6 surrounding tiles. And it gets 10 points from the forest. So its score is kind of capped out at 70, whereas the sawmill has a 2-tile radius area of effect. So its potential score ceiling is much higher. And all of the decks in the game kind of follow that pattern. Same with the cottages and the houses. The cottage only has a 1-tile radius, the house has a 2-tile radius. So you can score much more highly with it. Okay, once again, the game wants me to create some city districts. Let me go ahead and unlock basic food as well, just because we can. Put my city over here. Ooh. 3 megalith if we want one. Actually, yeah, we should build a sanctuary. We can't get through a level without building a sanctuary at least once. I think that should be a rule. There we go. 1 sanctuary. Vertsky says, I love an Emma-curated breakdown of a cozy game. You convinced me to buy it. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, this game was actually introduced to me by Best Alex. That was, what, 8 months ago now? But I wanted to, I wanted to share it with everyone else. So even though I've completely completed the game and got all the achievements and everything, I thought I would do another playthrough on stream so everyone can see. And this is only the second level. There are many, many more buildings to come. Here are the large buildings we've unlocked, but if I scroll down, you'll see there's quite a few more. So, and these are all the card packs as well. So there's quite a bit more depth to the game. Okay. I need to create 2 more forest settlements. So let's get more parts. So the forest settlement is a special type of settlement. You've got your longhouses and your city districts, which are just houses. And they just obliterate the landscape and turn it into urban or rural. If you prefer to be more harmonised with nature, you can instead build this. So what you do is you put a lumberjack, 2 foresters, 3 cottages, and a well. And you make a forest settlement. I love the art for this because they've got like these tree houses with walkways between them, and it would be so cool to have something like that. I live in a very small house in a very overdeveloped area with no trees at all, and I just wish I could live somewhere like this, but it's not an option for me at the moment. But I love the design of this little forest settlement. Altibago says, is there by any chance a woman with sanctuaries for sale? Maybe one in the cult. I mean, if there's a cult offering sanctuaries, then I'm willing to join it. Anyway, so the forest settlement is very, very powerful. Not only does it give you 4 free deer resources, it adds forest and thicket biome on surrounding tiles with a radius of 3. So it's a huge area that it makes forest. Let me build one over here to show you what I mean. Need more cottages. Please give me a settlement. Thank you. So if I do this again, so ignore the fact I'm scoring 0 for this lumberjack because I'm deliberately building it where there's no wood, just to illustrate how it works. If I put that there, 3 cottages. Please give me a cottage. Please give me cottage. Give cottage. Okay, don't give cottage. Yeah, once you've unlocked all of the cards in the deck, it is slightly random which ones you actually get. That's is where trading can be useful, because if I trade in 4 stars worth of stuff, I can get myself 2 cottages. There we go. So right now there are no trees here at all, and then as soon as I build this, look how many trees that generated. So you really can forest your entire map if you really want to. Okay, we need to create 4 more forest settlements and also some city districts. Let's get started with that. Let's actually put forest settlements in the forest this time, because you get more points that way. Did I build that wrong? Damn it. Okay, that one doesn't count because I built it wrong. This is why this tab exists. You don't forget how the buildings work halfway through. Okay, let's try that again. Up there. Up there. I'm going to trade for some more cottages. I'm not going to trade for some more cottages. It's not offering many cottages. Okay, never mind. Oh, we've unlocked the 4th building in the forest deck, which is the charcoal burner. You can see you can score quite a lot on that if you stick it in the middle of the forest. Wow, the game is not giving me cottages today. Whatever, I'll just go and build some city districts. Ah, cottages, finally. Right, where was I? Cottage, 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 and away. There we go. Okay. 1 forest settlement. Please ignore this failed one down in the corner. Reforestation, unheard of in this channel. I know, right? Finally I'm playing a game that actually rewards you for creating trees as well as destroying them. It's a nice change of pace. Okay, we're starting to get a bit crowded here, but I should have space for another one. Maybe one. Ah, can't build here because of the river. There is a way to remove, so things like the megalith, they're called blockers in this game. They're not resources, but they do prevent you from building. There is a way to remove the blockers, but there is no way to remove a river. Once you have a river, you're stuck with it. So you do have to plan around them. Maybe over here. I could possibly have some more cottages. Okay, that was 1 cottage. Not quite what I wanted. Okay, we almost have everything, but we still need another cottage. Skip cottage. That's a monastery. You know what? I'll take the monastery because it means I can re-roll for a cottage. No? Okay. Monastery is quite cool. It has a huge area of effect and it gains points from nature things. See, it doesn't score anything for houses, but it scores points from forests and also rivers. So, yeah, look at that. 430 points. 510. just for being in an area with lots of rivers and trees. So definitely worth it to get that card. Ooh, gold sawmill. So every so often, the game will give you a gold card instead of a normal one. Gold cards are basically better versions of normal cards. So this is a normal sawmill. You see it scores 95 there. Gold sawmills have a bigger radius of effect, and they also score more points. So suddenly this sawmill is worth like 400 points instead of 100 points. I wonder how much I can get with this if I come over here. This is actually less. I've built so many settlements now that there's not as many trees. So this is actually, this corner is the place to come for high scores. 415 is the most I can get. In the weekly challenge mode, there is quite a lot of maths involved in really squeezing out the highest possible scores from every card. The weekly challenge, you're basically given a very small map and a small set of cards, and you have to find the highest possible score with those cards. And it can be tricky because you can have things where, you know, one card scores points for being with another card, and the other card also scores points for being with the first card. So you have to decide which card you want to play first. If one of them gives 10 bonus points to the other, and one gives 20 bonus points to the other, you want to play the one that scores 10 first, and then the one that scores 20. It's... I have not yet won any of the weekly challenges, but I have done reasonably well on some of them. Can the game please give me one more cottage? There we go. That's our 5th forest settlement. Go ahead and finish off my city while I'm waiting for another cottage. By the way, every time you unlock a new deck, the keep upgrades, there are actually 10 levels of upgrade that you can reach. But you won't see all of them until a bit later on in the scenarios. Currently this is level 3, so we have progressed to the point that our keep is now made out of stone instead of wood. If we go ahead and get one more upgrade, then this is the 4th level. We have discovered putting roofs on things. And yeah, by the end of it, like, the whole thing is stone, and it looks like a more sort of late medieval castle rather than these early ones. Okay, we need to create one more for settlement and then place 4 taverns. Yes, so the final deck that we unlocked, the community deck. So this has buildings like taverns, which unsurprisingly get points from being near to houses, and long houses and cities and so on. There is also a brewery card, but that's a deck we haven't unlocked yet. Turns out building a tavern near a brewery is a good idea. Who would have thought? Markets also benefit from being in the city. They do not like to be over here with the long houses. These people are too poor to have anything to trade. They want to they want to be here in the city. I need another cottage for my final forest settlement, please. I'll take another monastery just because monasteries lose 40 points for being next to another monastery. But when you're scoring 400 points, losing 40 isn't that big of a deal. Like, it's still 400 points to place this here. So I'm still quite happy to do that. Okay, please give me one more cottage. Thank you. Okay. Let's put one up here. Let's turn the entire map into forest, just because we can. So, what was it again? Ignore the fact I'm not scoring any points for these cards. I am trying to create a forest out of thin air. Need to make some sacrifices. There we go. Altivago says the start of that jingle for making a combo thing makes me think it's going to go into the Final Fantasy victory fanfare every time. The triangular nation, or triangulation if you will, is coming along nicely. Hey, this is not a triangular nation, this is a hexagonal nation, I'll have you know. We have twice as many sides as those filthy triangulars. Okay, apparently we don't have enough taverns yet. The people in these houses can't be bothered to walk all the way over here to go to this tavern. They want a tavern of their own. So there we go. Okay, we already did the markets. 2 more city districts. And then bathhouses with waiting gold. Oh, this is this is how you're supposed to get. This is how you're supposed to get the rest of your cottages for the forest settlements. This quest gives you 4 cottages, and this one gives you 6. I didn't realise that. So bathhouse is the second card in the community deck. Gets points from city districts, particularly gets points from Manor Farm, which is interesting. I guess they don't have a bath in that posh manor house of theirs. They have to use the bathhouse. This is why it's good to leave gaps. Although the city district being this nice arrangement of 4 hexagons, you could just tile these together endlessly and make city blocks. But all these community buildings like to be in amongst the houses. So you have to place them in this sort of irregular pattern where you leave gaps. Because then you can go back and put community buildings in the gaps. If you want me to place 4 bathhouses, you're going to have to give me 4 bathhouses, game. So far you have given me 2. 2, I don't know if you know this, 2 is less than 4. I have 11 taverns, which I don't need. Show me a bathhouse. Ah, bathhouse, okay. Let's swap some of these. No, I had... damn it, I had cottage selected by mistake. Please give me bathhouse. Thank you. This is why the trading screen is helpful. It's not so much that you can't use the cards you've got, it's that you need specific cards and the game is refusing to give you them. Okay. Oh, just place some sawmills. Can do that. Would be the highest score. Oh, that's a good spot. That's quite good as well. Give me a sawmill. Ah, it actually gave me the building I wanted for once. And place some charcoal burners. Oh, whoops. Okay, probably shouldn't have just traded away all my charcoal burners because now I actually need them. Okay, still need 6 more. Maybe I can trade. Okay, I can trade for a charcoal burner. Oh, I've only got one of those. Oh, I've got I've got 20 place game. I don't think I need that many deer. Oh, we unlocked a temple as well. This is another community. In fact, let me get a chapel just to show you the difference. So the chapels and churches are for the Christian folk in the city. See how we get points from these city districts. Whereas here you don't get as many points from the longhouses. And then by contrast, the temple. Temple only gets 10 points from these city districts, whereas it gets 20 points from these. So, bunch of pagans in these longhouses, but that's fine by me. In fact, I'm guessing, yeah, these get points from the sanctuaries as well. Okay, we still need more of the charcoal thingy. Using up all my diamonds here. The only reason you would not want to use up your diamonds is you get a lower score that way. But for the scenarios, I'm not really bothered about what my final score is. I just want to complete the objectives. I'll get a church as well because they score much the same way as chapels. They actually get 0 points from the longhouses, but they get points from the city districts. El Timago says, if the British countryside is anything to go by, then deer will make far more deer than you can cope with on your own. There is definitely some truth to that, yes. Right, now my main challenge is creating enough charcoal, apparently, which is not a problem I thought I'd do. Yeah, I'm annoyed. I had 2 more and I traded them. And it's so long since I played these scenarios that I forgot what order you actually need the buildings in. But that's fine. I can just place more buildings to get more points, to get more cards, to get more charcoal. I haven't actually used my basic food deck at all yet. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, maybe I would score quite well with the hunting cabin, using these 16 deers that I have. Yeah, just a casual 350 points. Okay, please give me more charcoal there, thank you. 2 more. One more. Oh, and I also need to build more longhouses. I might just be about to squash some of those deer that I placed. But as LT Bago points out, don't worry, the deer will be back soon. You leave them to their own devices. Okay. Oh, and place 3 temples is the other quest. Well, we already placed 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Ooh! we managed to unlock some demolitions. Was that for making a building? No, they just gave it me as a quest reward. Demolition is fun. Hey, Harry! This game is about to go up in Harry's estimation. As he realises that you can destroy buildings. Whoever lived in those houses. The demolition card can't destroy the large buildings, but don't worry. There is a card that can destroy the large buildings as well, but it's like a super demolition. It is a thing that you can do. So if you make a mistake with your town planning, you can fix it. It's just a little bit expensive to fix. Okay. Okay, place 2 surgeons. So surgeon is the final community building. So I need to finish scoring points with community to unlock surgeon. There we go. Surgeon again gets points basically from being near houses. Okay, there's our final charcoal burner. Just about got there. Just need another surgeon now. That is a temple. That is a surgeon. Hooray! Good work! You successfully mastered all challenges that you faced, and thanks to your determination to burn as much charcoal as possible, your kingdom has grown once again, and now new endeavours are waiting for you. Okay, we will finish there. Yeah, we'll recycle. So you can play until either you've played all your cards or you run out of space. And if in the normal mode where you're playing for a high score, that's usually the best thing to do. But in the scenarios, we might as well just end as soon as we've met all the objectives. You can see you do get quite a lot of points if you have enough stuff left over. And yeah, we're level 5 already. There are 20 levels in total. They unlock new designs for your banner and titles to go under your name and stuff like that. There's nothing too exciting to be unlocked. Okay. Stop sending me back to the main menu. Send me to the scenario menu. Let's continue with New Sealand. So we are going to do a spot of fishing now. When there's little fertile land available, tapping into other sources for food is a good idea. Since we discovered an abundance of fish here, fishing will be an excellent way to ensure our population is well fed. Thank you, Captain Obvious, for telling me that on a small island you need to fish. There are the fishies in question. I do like how all the resources are animated in this game. There is also coral reefs. And there's a couple of other things. I don't think they've been introduced yet. Oh, and there's also these shipwrecks. You can't build on a shipwreck. This is the ocean equivalent of the megaliths. It kind of blocks you from building on that time. Tower Stars says, going for a shower, back in a bit, be good, chat. You heard best as Sarah, chat. Be on your best behaviour. Okay. We can't actually unlock the fishing deck immediately. You have to unlock them in the order they are here, going from left to right. So the first thing you unlock has to be in tier 1, then it has to be something in tier 1 or 2, and then 3 and so on. So we'll unlock settlement. Next thing we'll unlock will have to be forestry and then fishing. You can trust us, says Harry. El Tibago, on the other hand, says, why would I change now? I'm never good. In Izzy says, you can trust most of us. Harry needs to be kept away from the explosives. These are all good points. Okay. I like how there's this one little pond over here, completely separate from the rest of the water. These fish are safe from ever being fished because nobody can reach over there. Okay, let's build some stuffs. Honestly, I think I might just use this remove resource. I don't particularly need to remove resources, but I do earn 20 points for doing so. So I'm going to remove it. Because that 20 points lets me buy the next upgrade. Okay. Two more cottages. Okay, unlock forestry, yes. Place sawmills with rating gold. Okay. Well, first of all, then we have to unlock the sawmill before we can actually place any. Yeah, sawmill is the third thing actually. Yeah, it's lumberjack and then forester and then sawmill. So I'm not quite able to do that yet. Let's build one of those royal forests. There we go. Okay, sawmill available now. All we need to do is get a gold rating with it, which is not difficult. Please give me another sawmill, thank you. And then we can unlock fishing. Fish trap available. So, first card in the fishing deck is fish trap. You will not be surprised to hear that fish traps get points from being next to fish. That is not fish. Give me fish. Thank you. You also lose points if you place two fishing traps too close together. See, that loses 30 points. Which makes sense, I suppose. Where else is a good spot for these? Oh, that's a good spot. And then the second card in the fishing deck is fishing boat, which is kind of like a fish trap with a bigger sort of point ceiling. This just gets 15 points per fish. This gets you 15 points per fish and 20 points per fish trap. So it sort of scales with what you've already placed. See, that's now 80 points there. Stop giving me cards that aren't fish. Thank you. Because the fishing boat benefits from the fish trap, but not vice versa, you're always better off placing the fish trap first, and then placing the fishing boat next to it. In fact, I should place two traps, one here, and then put the boat in the middle, for many points. Sarah the Stars says maybe just move the knives and dynamite into the safe. I don't have any dynamite, Sarah. I'm not sure what you think I have around the house, but no, I realise the whole cheese house thing, but that doesn't mean I have dynamite just lying around as well. Don't make me drive down there and confiscate them, Harry, says Izzy. Oh dear. I'm trying to figure out how far Harry is from Izzy and thus how much of a threat that is. Okay, third card in the fishing deck is Shell Farm. Shell Farm benefits from the reef rather than the fish. So this is a good place for Shell Farm. And then there is a big building that you can make with the fish stuff. You just put the three of them in a little triangle like this. So I shall to demonstrate that as well. Please give me more fishy things. These are not fishy things. There we go. So, yeah, if we come back here, because I already have a fishing boat and a fish trap, if I place a shell farm here, we have created a fishing outpost, which gives us some extra fish traps. It also creates fish. So it actually spawns fish resources on all surrounding tiles. And it buffs the score of any fishing boats you put next to it. See, that's now an extra 45 points. So these are really the key to getting a good score. Create as many of these as you can and then put more fishing things around them. If I go back to, where did I build my shell farm? There. So I have a shell farm here, I have a fish trap here. If I put a boat there as well, get myself one of those. Yeah, now we're getting like 140 points per fishing boat, which is pretty good. And this is the final card in the fishing deck, which actually goes on land. This is the fishery. So I guess the chain is sort of, you've got the fish, and then you catch the fish in the fish traps, and then the boats go and get the fish, and they bring them back to the fishing outpost, and then they bring them back to the fishery. So the fishery benefits from all of the things that we've just placed. And it has a much bigger area of effect. So, in theory, you can get a very high score with one of these. It would be nice if there was like a little island out here somewhere that I could place my fishery on, so that I don't have to have it on shore. We'll put it on shore for now. Go ahead and make another of these. Many points. Ironically, once you've made the fishing outpost and spawned fish around it, the best score for your fishing boats is then to put it on top of the fish, meaning that you end up with there being no fish there. So the end result is there's no fish, but at least you scored a lot of points in the process, which does sound a bit like commercial fishing in real life. Okay, that is 16 fish traps placed. We need to place 2 more fishing boats. Oh, we also have some placed fish. How did I get those? Oh, it was the quest reward. Yeah, so I can just place more fish now as well. Go ahead and do that. Okay, place 2 more fishing boats. Those are not fishing boats. Those are fishing boats. There we go. Okay, and I've already done all of these quests in advance. Use to place fish, earn points with fishing deck. Haven't placed a boat builder yet. How does one obtain a boat builder? I think we need to use this other... So there's actually 2 buildings that involve the fish cards. There's the fishing outpost, and then there's this one where you need a fishery. This one is quite difficult to arrange because the fishery is on land and these 3 aren't. So you have to have a piece of land that has at least 3 water tiles around it. And then you have to put a boat there, and then two fish traps if you're going to give me them. I'll lose the 5 points for this one just so that I can create the fish farm. So we have fishing outposts and we have fish farm, which is kind of a bigger version of the fishing outpost. I do love the aesthetic of these buildings especially. I realise they have circles instead of hexagons, but I do love the aesthetic of them. I'm not sure historically whether anything like this has ever really existed. But I do like them. So this gives you fishing boats, and it actually spawns fish out to a radius of 2. So we have all this new fish now. I will go ahead and use. I can't remember how you get a boat builder. I think that might be a... Can you trade for one? I guess not. Well, we'll find out soon enough. The other thing I need to do is place 6 wells with a gold rating. That shouldn't be too hard. 4, 5. Need another well. And okay, never mind. Need to place more cottages before I can do that. Izzy says that she can't drive and confiscate Harry's explosives because she doesn't have a car yet. Yet being the keyword, should have one on Friday. Well, that is a good development, Izzy. That is very good news. Okay, we just need to place the boat builder now. I can't remember how you get one. Whilst I think about it, I'm going to go and make a sanctuary. Okay. Is boat builder a reward for any of these? No, no, no. No, 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 no. And I can't actually make these yet because I haven't unlocked the other cards. Well, maybe eventually the game will offer me one. Hello, Danny. Thank you very much for continuing your purple penguin subscription.
Penguin emoji, penguin emoji, penguin emoji, penguin emoji.
Penguin emoji, penguin emoji, penguin emoji, penguin emoji. It's very good to see you, Danny. I hope you are well. I know you're usually lurking with Izzy. Hope you're having a good weekend. Best purple penguins. Okay. Still not sure how to get boat builder. Can't unlock any more cards. Can I trade for boat builder? No. I might get these shell farms though. Wait, no, I can't get to 11 that way. I have to use more expensive cards. You're only allowed to use 4 cards per trade, so to get the more expensive cards, you have to trade other expensive cards. Yes, exactly, El Tibago. Many penguin emojis. Okay, well, I've got 10 shell farms, so let's go ahead and use some of them to make many, many, many fishing outposts. Okay, this might be slightly too many fishing outposts. I don't think there's actually any fish left at this point. It's all outpost, but never mind. At least we're scoring a lot of points. Danny says, Easy got driving license without any minors or majors, but with Penguin. Ah, I see. I didn't have a Penguin when I took my driving test. Maybe that's where I went wrong. Sorry, I appear to have gone into urban sprawl mode here. Still wondering if it's going to give me a boat builder at any point, because I literally need to place one to finish the level. Ah, it's that time of the stream. Well, maybe we'll see if we can finish this level, and then we'll have our botany segment. And boop. That's not a boat builder, that's a fish. Fish, fish, and more fish. Fish.
Shiny glass word, Salicornia emerisi.
Salicornia emerisi. That's easy for you to say. How many fish is too many fish? Like, I feel like the residents of this island are perhaps getting a little bit fed up of fish and would maybe like to try something else for once. Unfortunately, the basic food pack is unavailable in this scenario, so I'm afraid I literally can't give you anything else. I'm still hoping that Boat Builder comes up as an option at some point. I seem to remember it being one of these red-backed cards. So the blue-backed cards are, or the grey, like these colours. These are the cards that you draw from the draw pile when you pick one of the packs. Oh, there it is. Right. Yeah, the red-backed ones. These cards are not part of any deck. So the monastery, it's not a basic food card, it's not a settlement card, it's just a card that you get offered sometimes. Finally, I've been offered a boat builder. Which, yeah, gets points for being next to these things. Game decided to take its time in offering me that, but it's all good. Just need to earn a few more forestry points here. Ooh, gold sawmill. I will take those 210 points. Thank you very much. Okay, create 6 fish farms. That's the big one, isn't it? Yeah, okay. I was creating an awful lot of the fishing outposts and not so many fish farms. So we probably need to go back and make some. Okay, I can't actually put one there because there's a shipwreck in the way. And I don't have the card that there is a card that allows you to remove shipwrecks, but I don't have it. Can't put one there because there's a thing in the way. That's okay. I have plenty of other fisheries available. Fine. And I guess we'll put one over here as well. There we go. Good work. You've successfully mastered all challenges that you've faced. Well, apart from this optional one that I haven't done. Thanks to your determination, your kingdom has grown once again. Yeah, let me do the optional challenge. I would not want to skip over it. I need to make some forest settlements for that. There's one. Oh, I need a lumberjack. Give lumberjack. Minus 95. Okay, yeah, we are sort of packing things in a bit close here. Things like to be spaced well apart from each other. That's why they have these areas of effect. Quite often you lose points for having the same thing within its own area of effect, which encourages you to space things out. But sometimes I don't care. Okay. There we go. Right, we have done all of our quests. We shall finish there. This one doesn't have a wiki. Wait, it doesn't have a wiki entry? Oh, you chose shiny glasswort. I was going to say, I was sure that perennial glasswort would have a wiki entry, but perhaps shiny glasswort doesn't. Glassworts in general will have a wiki entry though. Okay. Time for our... I'm sure you used to be able to go to the next... the next scenario. Kicking me back to the main menu every time. Time for our botany segment, and then we shall continue with Golden Fields. Okay. Danny, thank you so much for redeeming Wood Forget-Me-Not as your flower of the day. Have yourself a Forget-Me-Not emote, because that's one of the ones I have in my emotes. There we go. Okay, El Tibago intentionally looked for a rarer glasswort. There are quite a few rare glassworts because they are very, very habitat specific. They can only grow at the coast and only certain types of coastal habitat. Some of them will only grow in particular types of sand dunes and stuff like that. Let me bring up a picture. Probably just make the Terra music a bit quieter for the moment. Let me bring up a picture of shiny glasswort. Okay. It's not a good sign that image search for shiny glasswort. Most of what comes up is not shiny glasswort. It's other glassworts. This one is shiny glasswort though. That's on iNaturalist. Might have to put the Latin name in to get it to bring up the correct plant. Okay, there we go. So, There we go. On the left you have a whole plant, and on the right you have a close-up of one of the flowering buds. Yeah, it's a very, very weird plant. So these little green bits here, they are functioning as leaves. They have chlorophyll in them, but they don't look like normal leaves. They're not flat. And of course, there is a reason, like evolutionarily, why leaves are leaf-shaped, why they are wide and flat generally, and it's to gather as much energy as possible from the sunlight. But sometimes the conditions a plant is growing in force it to specialise. For example, pine trees don't have big flat leaves, they have tiny thin leaves because that way they can survive winter and snow falls off them easier. So glassworts are adapted to survive in coastal margins, so growing in sand or gravel, very, very close to the coast, so very salty conditions, very low nutrient soil. Also very exposed to the weather, to the wind and the rain. And so you end up with a plant with looks like this. And there's a whole family of glassworts. This one in particular is Salicornia emerisi, or shiny glasswort. The most common one, I believe, is perennial glasswort, which is the one that got redeemed earlier. Which does look similar to this one. They all have the same basic structure of these big chunky swollen stems rather than actual leaves. Here's a picture of perennial glasswort just for comparison. As I say, there's a whole family of these. Let's see what my books have to say about it. Ooh. Oh. First of all, I don't think shiny glasswort is even going to be in this one. No, this is more a beginner level book, but it's very convenient for field use because it's this size and not this size. So I do still carry it around with me sometimes. This has perennial glasswort as a separate species, and then it just treats glassworts as a collection of species in addition to that. So yes, glassworts appear to lack leaves. At first glance, they are merely jointed succulent stems, but leaves are present in the form of pairs of triangular scale-like lobes tightly clasping opposite sides of the stem. So they're a bit easier to see in this perennial glasswort than they are in the other one. These are the leaves here. These little bits, those are the leaves. They are not typical leaves at all. So there are 7 species of glasswort growing in the UK. And yeah, some of them are difficult to distinguish, even to experts, which is why this book doesn't try to distinguish them beyond perennial glasswort. But yeah, I will see if shiny glasswort is a separate species in my other book. Salicornia, that starts with S. Salicornia. Okay, yes, it is actually in here. It's in the other book. It is in here. Shiny glasswort. Yeah, this is pretty much the rarest one, Teabago, so congratulations on picking that. Yes, the full set of species you get in the UK is perennial glasswort, one flowered glasswort, purple glasswort, common glasswort, glaucous glasswort, shiny glasswort, yellow glasswort, and long spiked glasswort. And then also some hybrids between those species. Two of the hybrids are actually in this book as separate entries because they're common enough to warrant that. And unsurprisingly, they all have similar distributions, i.e. they grow on the coast in suitable habitats like sand dunes. And they're all showing a long-term declining trend, with the exception of common glasswort, so they're all threatened by habitat loss. Shiny glasswort specifically, an annual herb which, in contrast to other glassworts, occurs mainly in the middle and upper parts of salt marshes, especially in bare mud associated with salt pans and high-level runnels. Local populations appear to be more widely spaced and less gregarious than other glasswort species. Okay, so this one has a very specialised habitat even by glasswort standards, because it only grows in salt marshes. So there's none of this in Somerset because we don't have any salt marshes in Somerset. We certainly have a lot of marshes at the moment, thanks to all the winter flooding. But when that does happen, they are freshwater, not saltwater. So this species was not even identified as being a separate species in Britain until 1959. Long-term distribution trends are unreliable, but it was almost certainly lost from many sites in southern England over the course of the last few centuries due to salt marsh reclamation. So land which was previously salt marsh has now been converted to agricultural use. It remains rare and probably still under-recorded. It has been found at new sites more recently in Anglesey and also southern Ireland in County Waterford and County Wexford. But there are no recent records for Cambridgeshire or the Northumberland, Norfolk and Suffolk coasts where it was previously found. So yeah, I suspect it's probably declining like the others. It doesn't. The book has a little thing where it shows a long-term trend, whether it's increasing, declining, or stable, and it doesn't have a trend for this one because there's not enough data. I will also read the bits about glassworts in general, just for context. So glassworts in general are a lot less fussy than that, and their distribution spans not the entire coastline of Britain and Ireland, but quite significant portions of it. Glassworts are erect or sprawling succulent annual herbs of salt marshes and other saline habitats. They form what are called diploid and tetraploid taxa, and so they kind of interbreed with each other and make hybrids more readily than a lot of other species, which makes them very difficult to identify. Forming distinct local populations which have been interpreted taxonomically in many ways, which is another way of saying taxonomists have had an argument about how to classify these plants. They primarily occur in upper salt marshes and in dikes and sand dunes and other salty coastal habitats. The distribution of glassworts as a whole is mostly stable, with losses in some areas through coastal development, but increases in others. In some areas, managed coastal retreats have provided new habitat. So there have been efforts to intentionally create salt marsh habitat by... there's a project to do this actually in southwest which it's not creating the right habitat for shiny glasswort, but it will create the right habitat for other glassworts. So there used to be salt marsh centuries ago. There was no salt marsh there because it had all been drained for agriculture. The Wildlife Trust intentionally bought up some land and then deliberately breached the seawall and then constructed a new seawall. So there's an area now which floods like it used to and is slowly returning to salt marsh. It's mostly being done to support bird populations because wetlands are hugely important, both freshwater and saltwater, a hugely important habitat for birds. The Somerset levels also used to be wetland and all got drained for agriculture. There are some areas where the peat has been excavated. So you had what used to be marshland got drained, and then you had like several feet of peat above the bedrock, and that just got dug out and sold as garden compost, which has now been banned, but for many decades it was sold. So you had basically just big holes, which then obviously filled with water. So what they've done is they've replanted those holes with reeds and sort of somewhat approximated the habitat that would have been there before we started messing around with it as humans. And so there are two major bird sanctuaries now on the levels. And so the kind of coastal equivalent of that, also important for birds, but glassworts are one of the plants that benefit from it. Losses from more inland saline habitats are mostly historical. So we don't really have inland saline habitats here in Somerset, but for example in the fens in the east, that's what it means by inland saline habitat. So almost all European coasts have some type of glasswort. Going down into the Mediterranean and across to Ukraine and southern Russia. So all but the furthest north coastal waters have some kind of glasswort. So it's as a family, it's a very widespread group of plants. El Tibago says, I've surveyed one of the sites where this used to be by the look of it. I mean, yes, it does grow on the coast where you used to live, definitely. If we're talking about common glasswort. The shiny glasswort you may well have. Yes, I remember you talking about going there. Yeah, that might actually be one of the sites where the shiny glasswort is. Looks like the current sites for shiny glasswort are south coast near the Isle of Wight, kind of Lancashire, the northeast around the Scottish border, and then a few scattered sites around East Anglia, which is probably where it used to be more common. I'll show you the distribution map as well. So here's where you find glassworts as a whole. There we go. So we do get them in Somerset. We particularly get them here. This area, the mouth of the River Parrett, just north of Bridgewater. If I maybe just a bit more detailed. There we go. This is an area where nature reserve has recently been created. Can I see on the satellite view? Not really, because there's blobs in the way. Yeah. So how most of the levels, and indeed most other farmland, coastal farmland in the UK, you have this. You have the farmland, and then you have a sea wall, or I guess river flood defences here. So all along here you have a seawall, and for example here, this is the seawall. So this bit of land here is actually beyond the seawall, and that's not farmed. This is Hinkley Point Nuclear Power Station. There's Hinkley Point C being built. But what they've done here, so up until about 10 years ago, there was a seawall here, and this was all farmland. And this channel has been artificially put in, and this is being returned to salt marsh. You can still kind of see, I think these aerial photos must have been taken very shortly after this was done, because you can still see the old field boundaries everywhere. But they will gradually disappear. It does leave, there's like 3 farms now on this little peninsula that between them have about 6 fields, but I'm sure they were compensated for the land. And then this little point, this is Sturt Point, that's also nature reserve. So that's the sort of place you'd find glassworts. And as you can see, indeed we do find glassworts there. We also find them much of the rest of the coast, but if you're being specific about shiny glasswort, MSC, that one, yes. I'm going to have to put this back to that resolution so you can even see. So yeah, we've got County Waterford in Ireland, a couple of records in Anglesey, and then yeah, this is, I won't be too specific, but around here is where El Tibago used to live. None of these records, these are all from at least 15 years ago though, so whether it's still there, I don't know. And this is another historic site for it that has had no recent records. This is in the Fens. And then, yeah, around Southampton and also up here by Hunstanton on the north coast of East Anglia. And also one random one in Scotland. I don't know how it got there. Whether that was a human-induced spread or whether it got there naturally. I suppose that is the right kind of habitat for it. Anyway, Tibago said Wiki did not have anything about this plant, but it must have something about glassworts in general. Okay, yes it does. A succulent halophytic plants, which is a fancy way of saying plants that thrive in saline environments, such as salt marshes. The original English glasswort plants are the genus Salicornia, but there are other families of glassworts elsewhere in the world. For example, mangrove swamps also have glasswort plants in them, but they're a completely different family from these glassworts. So the reason they're called glasswort is because apparently the ashes of burning these plants are quite good for making soda glass, which I did not know. They have also been used in soap making because, yeah, the ashes are an alkali with their sodium carbonate as an active ingredient. So basically anywhere that you need sodium carbonate, burning glassworts is a very efficient way to get that. So yeah, the reason that they would have declined so much in the medieval period is they were constantly being harvested from tidal marshes, burned and then mixed with water to produce sodium carbonate. And yeah, in the 18th century that was actually quite a big industry. Scotland, it was a thing. Spain, it was a thing. They also used kelp for the same purpose in Scotland. But yeah, then in the 19th century, they came up with a synthetic process to make sodium carbonate using salt, limestone, and sulfuric acid. And it's a bit easier to get hold of limestone than it is to get rid of to get hold of a specific plant that only grows in one place. You can eat, not all glassworts, but you can eat common glasswort. There's such a thing as glasswort salad, which sounds risky. It sounds like you're going to be eating broken glass, but yes. Glasswort itself is not hard like glass. It's called glasswort because of its association with glass making. Glasswort salad apparently part of Turkish cuisine. I did not know that. I knew it was edible. That is the raid noise, and that is a Rooney. Hello, best Rooney. Welcome in. You're just catching the end of our botany segment. We're looking at glassworts today. These are plants that grow in salty habitats like tidal marshes, and they're very funny looking. Harry, Fireball, Hurricane, Rooney, and all your other viewers, welcome in. I hope you had a good stream. Rooney has been playing Satisfactory recently. I have been having a quick look at Rooney's game as he has been progressing through, and he has definitely been building a factory, and it has been very So it was a satisfactory. Please do click that button that says follow Rooney, because Rooney is amazing cozy streamer, always fun to be with, and has a much more consistent streaming schedule than me. So if you want somewhere that you can reliably hang out and watch cozy gameplay, then I can definitely recommend Rooney. Hello to Wurzel Prunfoot. Good to see you as well. Thank you for coming in with the raid. And since I was lurking in Rooney's stream, I should probably do the raid message myself. There we go. Welcome in, Gertchie. Good to see you. Hurricane, thank you so much for resubbing. That is incredibly generous of you. I appreciate you always. 11 months, almost a whole year. And if anybody else would like their flower of the day, don't forget, it's only 10 channel points. Hurricane has a marsh sancfoil. Interesting. We've sort of been talking about marsh habitats today. That is a very different, that's a freshwater marsh plant, that one. Rooney says, just finished a massive build today. My brain is complaining. Hope you are all well. Yes, I've played quite a bit of Satisfactory myself. In fact, when Harry visited me last year, I did give him a brief tour of my, at the time, unfinished Satisfactory base. And yes, Emma Brain was exploding trying to get the trains to work. Rooney, thank you so much for redeeming Greater Plantain as your flower of the day. That is a very common one. Big round leaves, quite tolerant to being trodden on, so you often find it on footpaths. And thank you so much for resubbing. I can't believe so many people think that Emma content is worth subscribing to, but I'm very appreciative that you do feel that way. Emma trains were interesting, says Harry. It was more that I was just too lazy to build the railways nicely. Like, you have two options when making trains. You can try and, like, meticulously plan out where the track's going to go and, like, have it follow the landscape and put bridges in where necessary. Or you can just, like, select the rail tool, click one end, click the other end, and go, like... The game doesn't care if your railways clip through the ground. You might care as the train driver, but the game doesn't. Wow, we have another hype train off the back of those subs. That's our second hype train in one stream. That's not normal for an Emma stream. Thank you, everybody, so much for the support. Satisfactory is a great game, by the way. I've never streamed it, but I have played it and I can recommend it. Maybe I'll stream it one day. I mean, I wouldn't start a playthrough while Rooney was still doing one. It takes up a lot of time. It would be a lot of streams, but maybe one day I'll do one. If you enjoy factory building, kind of like Factorio, which I have streamed, that kind of automation of production of things, and it has trains, It also has quite a big exploration element to it, much more than Factorio does. And it's 3D, so you have much more options for building than a 2D factory game. And it also has explosives, which increases its appeal to Harry. And you can do some. I actually quite like how flexible it is with kind of letting you build anything anywhere, even if things clip into each other or whatever, because it lets you do some interesting things. I won't spoil it too much for anyone who's not played it, but there is a travel mechanism, like a way of transporting yourself around the map, which can be abused somewhat with a physics glitch, which I believe the devs actually left in because it was so much fun. Haven't touched the trains yet, so that could become interesting in the future. Yeah, I have seen. Well, I also saw when Harry came to visit me last year. I also saw his Satisfactory game. Very sophisticated train network, and I'm sure it's only become more sophisticated since. And Harry says, I redid my train station today to allow for more trains. So it sounds like the answer is yes, it did. Harry is using the blow high yeet emote as a clue for what you can do in the game with your in-game character. Or your in-game character's corpse, depending on how badly it goes. Haven't touched the trains yet, should be interesting for you. Yes, I will definitely try to catch your stream, Rooney, once you move on to using the trains. They are a little different to the Factorio trains. Factorio has a thing called the circuit network that allows you to do incredibly sophisticated things, but also I couldn't understand it. I pasted someone else's build that let you play MIDI music in the game. They basically put a MIDI decoder into the circuits. Satisfactory does not have any of that stuff, so on paper it's less complicated than Factorio, but once you're actually in game and trying to build conveyor belts in 3D, I would argue it's actually the gameplay is actually more complicated. So yeah, definitely two very different games to check out. Okay, Harry started a new save since then. It did get better in that save. My current save is an improvement on top of that. Okay. Anyway, that's probably enough glassworks for one day, so I'll just put the books back, and then we'll continue with today's game, which is a cozy hexagon-based landscape building game called Terrascape. Not Dwarf, but a dwarf. What I am starting to call dwarf-likes. I think that's going to be my name for the genre. Dwarf-likes. Okay. 1 second, whilst I go back to the terra. There we go. Okay. We are on the 4th scenario. I think this is the one where we unlock the other food buildings, is it? Oh no, that's the next one. This is the one where we build fields everywhere. Yeah, that's right, I remember now. Alhuno, thank you so much for being cute, as always. Healthy woodlands are not only beneficial for the production of timber, by preserving the forest. See, by preserving the forests, not chopping them all down. We can also manage the wildlife population and promote the growth of useful crops. It can therefore be wise to establish these production chains simultaneously, i.e. don't just flatten all the forests and put fields in there. Fun though it is. Okay, let's put you in the middle. Okay, unlock basic food first. I shall do so. And then unlock forestry. Okay. Rooney is fetching some food. No problem, Rooney. We'll see you in a moment. Oh, hi there. Thank you for redeeming your flower of the day. Don't know if you're familiar with this game, being as you are a fan of hexagon landscape games. Where to put this? Oh, this is a good spot. Let's go here. Anytime the number turns blue, it means you've made a good choice for where to place it. This is a hunting cabin. Like over here is a good spot. Anywhere else with more deer? Wow, that is quite the river we have going on there. Very, very wiggly. Interesting how the rivers sort of work in this landscape. It starts here and it goes wiggle, 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 and then it flows over the edge into the abyss. It doesn't make sense. Don't question the physics of it. Okay. It wants us to unlock forestry. And then, okay, create some forest settlements and then use place. Place game. I forgot. Yes, we're going to be making forest settlements, and which will give us some more deer. So I should probably have just held on to that hunting cabin until we'd placed even more deer, but never mind. Let's build some forest settlements. We need you. Oh, we don't actually... we haven't unlocked settlement yet, so we can't build forest settlements. We can make a start, though. We can place some lumberjacks that we can add on to later. That is a thing that we can do. Okay, normally I would build royal forests with the forester, but I think this time I will start making the forest settlement. So it needs to go down there. There we go, and then we can unlock settlement. And then we can place some cottages. Then we actually need to unlock the well, which is the second settlement building. So I probably need to make some longhouses first as well. Oh, the river is a good spot for longhouses. That's annoying. This little bit of land flanked by these rivers is not quite the right shape for a longhouse. That would have been a very good score. We can fit one here though. That will unlock the well. And then I can finally make this forest settlement. There we go. Get 5 million forests placed down. Okay. I'll put one here. Just need a well. Thank you. Okay, and then 2 more. One more. Where did I put my other lumberjack? Oh, it's here. Still need another well. Well. Okay. Now we have to use the place game card, which is easy to do because we have 16 of them. As if there wasn't enough deer here already. Now there's more. Okay. Let's see if we can get ourselves a hunting cabin and see how much it's going to score. 380. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll take that. And that's including the penalty for being next to an existing one. Okay. It does want us to place 4 of them, so I guess I'll come back when I've got some more. Make a longhouse. No, I can't fit one there. That's annoying. Okay. In that case, we're going back down here. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want to live quite this close to the edge of an infinite void, but I mean, at least the view is good. Yes, a little bit precarious. Also, this is a very trolly signpost they've got here, just pointing. I'm not sure what it says, but whatever it is, it's pointing off the edge. And put these berries with our gathering huts. And pretty much get a diamond score for every single one of these, which is nice. I mean, it's not a huge score, like it's still only 70 or 80 points, which is not big in the scale of things. But what it does do is I'm basically farming diamonds, which I will then be able to use for trading and other things. So, good way to get a lot of diamonds very quickly is just to put lots of berry bushes and gathering huts next to each other, as I'm doing here. And, is that all the diamonds I can get? Oh no, one more. There we go. The site is unobstructed in a lot of directions. Yeah, I don't know how the Terra universe actually works. Whether these people can see like the next island. Like the first scenario I did, is it just over there in the distance, or is it miles and miles away? Hopefully these people have something to look at and not just an endless sky. Okay. I need to build more longhouses, so give me more cottages. Stop not offering me settlement. I know I can re-roll, I don't want to use my diamonds just yet, not if I don't have to. The reason I grabbed so many settlement decks before placing any more cottages is I hadn't unlocked houses yet, so now that I have unlocked houses, when I ask for settlement cards, quite a lot of them will be houses. So I'll end up with fewer cottages than doing it this way, where I asked for all the cottages up front. Also, this is a perfect spot for Sanctuary, so I'm going to put one here. This is a very peaceful spot. If I had to live somewhere on this map, it would probably be here. The river and the sanctuary and this little pond. And some berries. And maybe some more trees as well. There we go. Nice peaceful spot. I was tempted by the score here, but I can't make that into a block of 4 because there's already a lumberjack there. So I'll go over there instead. Yeah, I need a few more. Well, I need 3 more. Okay. Oh wait, hang on, there's a cliff there. This is something I didn't mention about this game. Maybe I should play with, where is it? This button? No, this button. Yeah. There are cliffs in this game. And see there's a cliff here. You can't build a large building across a cliff. So if I put a cottage here, it won't actually make a cottage. I keep forgetting that that's a thing, and then I get disappointed when my buildings don't exist. It's okay, it's fine. I just need to get some more cottages. In fact, I could probably trade for cottages. No? Ah, cottages. Cube cottages. There we go. It's fine. All fine. I need to place 4 hunting cabins with rating at least gold. I feel like that won't be too difficult with this massive field of deer here. Even with minus 100 points from these other two, it's still 330. If I go outside of that radius... No, I'm actually better taking the minus 100 points, so I'll do that. I need to try and get some more hunting cabins. Game is not offering me hunting cabins today. Okay, now I think it's worth building outside of where all the others are. There we go. And I've once again I've gone ahead of myself and done the other things already. Need to create some more royal forests. I should do that. Interesting that the natural forests in the game seem to be mixed. So it's a mixture of deciduous and coniferous trees, whereas the building forest is entirely a coniferous plantation, which does match with real life. Here in Somerset, we don't have any native conifers apart from yew, but the plantations are almost universally conifers, so they don't blend in with the natural forests, as is the case with this. The difference being we hardly have any natural forest left here, so you don't really notice anyway. I need 2 more foresters. Will do. Okay, place, wow, 10 cattle pastures with a rating gold. I think I did unlock, yeah, I did unlock cattle pasture. This is the final card in the basic food deck. Gold rating is not particularly easy to get though. Like I can't just place them anywhere. You can get points for putting them next to fruit farms. You can also get points for putting them next to wheat fields. Oh, I have 26 wheat fields. I didn't realise I had 26 wheat fields. That's quite a lot of wheat fields. Let's make a farm, shall we? Oh, this is big wheat field. Because normally wheat fields are just a single tile, so they don't have any area of effect. It's just 35 points if it's on grass, 15 points if it's on arid, and then minus points if it's on anything else. This is actually potentially quite a lot of points. You line it up correctly. Can I make a manor farm? I think I can, because I have a well, and I have houses. Yeah, if I make a manor farm here, which is those, and then 4 fields, and it's not grass at the moment, but it will become grass when I do that. And then if I make a farmstead, do have a cottage. Yeah, 95 points, which is a lot for Wheatfield. But all in all, not that much. I think I'll probably just put it there. I'm trying to create a environment for my cattle pastures. I suppose this is only really an environment for 1 cattle pasture. I need to place 10 of them. They need to be at least gold, which I think is at least 60 points. 55 is not enough, but 60 is enough. Also, don't put your cows in forests. That's minus 120 points. And it does actually subtract the points. If I place it here, yeah, that actually did subtract 120 points on my score. So, yeah, you generally don't want to do that. Don't put your cows in the forest. The lesson to be learned there. Give them plenty of wheat. Apologies to all these deers that I'm about to replace with wheat. It's for the good of the cows. I will place them over here as well. This is actually quite good points. Also, by the way, cattle pastures are one of the buildings that don't lose points of being next to each other. So, for example, sawmill is minus 55 for being next to another sawmill. Lumberjack is minus 60 for being next to another lumberjack. Cattle pasture, though, quite happy to have 3 cows next to each other. No negative effects. There we go. Okay. Oh, I have a gold gatherer hut. Yeah, that's definitely worth placing here. 60 points. Great city district. Okay, 6 city districts is 18 houses, but you get when you build a city district, you get a house back. So, yeah. This 15 is actually enough to make 6 districts, I think. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, I need... Wait. I'm not sure if it's enough or not. Let me find out. No. I need 1 more. No, I need more. Yeah, there we go. As before, I'm leaving gaps in my districts to put other buildings in. Woo! Okay, did lots of quests. Oh, place berry bushes I did. Create manor farm. I only created 1 manor farm. Creating manor farms is a good thing to do because it gives you bees, and we all love bees. It's very, very important to preserve bees. They are so important for the ecosystem. Like, crops would fail without bees. And I encourage everybody to plant bee-friendly plants in their gardens. Wasps, on the other hand, wasps are just jerks and you don't need to do anything for them. The world would be better off without wasps. Oh, I have a gold. I have a gold well. Would I like to score 0 points instead of -20? I might save the gold one for later. Okay, I need to make 3 of these. I need another house. Let's make 2 next to each other. I'm sure they won't mind. They can fight over who gets which land. I like how it actually connects the walls together when you do that. That's an interesting touch. So yes, we now have our 3 beekeepers. This is well, it was probably a slightly better spot for bees before the cows moved in, but it's still quite good. Yeah, forests are okay for bees, but it's only 5 points per tile, which is not a huge amount. Later on, when we unlock the textiles deck, there is a flax plant, which is like 30 points per beehive. That's how you get crazy scores on beehives. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Place 5 markets with a gold rating. Conveniently, I have exactly 5 markets. Now you see why I left holes in my city districts, because I can place markets in them. Good work! You've successfully mastered all challenges that you faced. Thanks to your determination, your kingdom has grown once again. I mean, I don't know where the people are coming from to move into these houses. Like, we are on a floating island in the middle of nowhere. And I haven't seen any aircraft of any sort showing up to transport them. But I don't quite know how they're doing it. Okay, the markets do get points from the manor farms, but not very many points. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to build more city districts in order to place 5 of them with a gold rating. Means I need more houses. Maybe they're falling out of the... I mean, yeah, maybe, yes, the population are falling out of the sky. I hope they brought parachutes with them, if that's the case. Where's my market? Okay, that is now gold. I'll need more houses. There we go. Okay. 5 markets. And then, just earn points with forestry deck. Yes, I have quite a few forestry cards I haven't played. We can play. Make use of all these forests that I've built and then not done anything with. Yes, this is a fundamentally capitalist world. You can't. It's not enough to just have a forest. It's got to be profitable. Oh, I never used my gold cards. Hang on. This is good. This is a lumberjack, but with twice the area of effect. So if you put it in the middle of a forest, that's good point. Still not really sure why you would want a gold well. Wells never really score that well. No pun intended. Oh, I haven't shown off this yet. Yeah, granary. Manor farm, farmstead, fruit farm, fish. Oh, even fish farm. I feel like just from a historical accuracy perspective, a granary shouldn't score points from a fish farm. You put grain in the granary, you don't put fish in it. Okay, but over here should be a good score. Yeah, because we've got the fruit farms and we've got the manor farms. Okay. So we've finished all the quests. I just wanted to show off those extra cards. Yes, I would like to finish the game. Hooray! Ooh, I think I leveled up there. I'm going through this quite quickly because I've done it all before, but I wanted to show everybody else how it works. Bread and wine. Okay, this is the one where we unlock the other food buildings. This rustic land is fertile but difficult to develop. Perhaps we can motivate the builders with the prospect of good wine to build a new distillery in our growing settlement. This should attract plenty of new inhabitants. Yes, so that's one of the new items, not the only one. Okay, where to put keep? I guess here. You want an area with lots of clear space in order to put houses down. I kind of want to leave the grassy areas for the farms, though. I might put it here. So there are buildings that can make use of the iron and stone resources, but we haven't actually unlocked any of them yet. So I'm going to put the keep on here. So start with basic food, because that's what the game told me. The first quest is unlock basic food deck, and then the second quest is create longhouses. Those quests don't really follow on from each other, because I can't create longhouses using food. But I can get points using food, so that's okay. Where are the most berries? Here. Ah, yes. This predators. This is another blocker, so you can't build on this tile. But there is a card that lets you remove them. So these are wolves, I guess. Predators nerf pretty much every card that's placed near them. Especially like livestock cards, but even like the Gatherer Hut. Scores less because it's next to a predator. There's quite a few predators out here. So, can we find... Why do all the berry bushes have predators next to them? I mean, I guess, yes, it makes sense. The herbivores are near the plants and the predators are near the herbivores. Yes, I understand how it works. This looks beautiful zoomed in. It does, Rooney, I agree. You can turn off the hex grid as well. If you want a little bit more realism, you can have just the landscape. And you can zoom in. Have a look at the animals and the swamps. And I mean, I haven't built very much yet, but you're right. There's a huge amount of detail if you zoom in close. Like, there's people in all the little villages. And... like all the rocks are like modelled properly and everything. It's a very pretty game. I'll try and zoom in a bit more. It's nice to be able to see what I'm building sometimes. But yes, I will try to zoom in more. I'm looking for a place with berries and no wolves. Yeah, it's good enough. Once I've built one, I can place my own berries, and then of course I can build them wherever I like. Okay. Let's go ahead and unlock settlement, since we need to build longhouses. Zoom in on the fruit farm. Not sure which type of fruit they are growing. Some kind of tree fruit. Looks like it might be oranges on account of... well, the crates look like apples, but the trees look more like oranges. And the icon for the building looks more like tomatoes. No, I suppose they are apples. I was misled by how red they were. Okay, it's probably just apples. There's wolves just standing around threateningly. The hunting cabin, by the way, you can hunt the predators as well as the deer. In fact, you get more points for hunting predators. ourselves some longhouses. We're here by the river. The houses also lose points from predators. I guess you don't want to live right next to predators. They'll come and steal all your food. Okay, yeah, this is this is definitely rather predator heavy. This would be an excellent place for a hunting cabin. The game is not giving me another hunting cabin. There we go. Yes, excellent place for a hunting cabin. Zoom in on the hunting cabin. Unfortunately, the remove resource card doesn't work on the blocker tiles. It only works on these. But there is a remove blocker card. That one, you can even delete mountains with it. It's quite powerful. Okay, this is a wonderful place for a cottage. But there's no way to make a longhouse with it. I think I might just place a cottage there. And then make a longhouse over here. These guys are not part of a longhouse. They get to be special and have a separate cottage. Okay, place 2 more hunting cabins. Just rely on being given hunting cabins. There's quite a lot of choice on this map for where to put hunting cabins. Can I get better than 250? Oh, yes, I can, I think. There's... Oh, no, this is where I already went. Okay, that was better, but I've already been there. Okay, maybe 250 is the best I can do. Go with that. Need one more. Can I trade for one? Not at the moment. Basic food deck is not offering me hunting cabins very often. You can guarantee once I don't need hunting cabins, it'll offer me them all the time. Okay. 60. I'm sure I can get over 200 with this. 180. That's close enough. Okay, time to make some farms. I was going to use this area for farming. Let's get a close-up on the farmstead. 3 different crops. Well, actually, no, these 2 could be the same. I don't know, is this... Maybe this is just wheat that was planted at a different time? Or is it a different crop? They've even got a scarecrow. All these deer standing here thinking, the minute these people go inside, I'm having some of that wheat. They didn't bother to finish the fence, which is a slight issue. In fact, specifically on the side where there are deer, they didn't finish the fence. Mind you, this fence, I mean, these deer could jump over this fence. I mean, they could practically step over the fence, never mind jump over it. Okay, let's build some more farmsteads. I'm going to intentionally leave gaps because we have the foodstuff deck. And as I already alluded earlier, there are windmills in this game. Windmills benefit from manor farms and farmsteads and wheat fields. Can we build a manor farm? Have we unlocked houses? We have. Okay, let's build a manor farm as well. Go ahead and stick a windmill in the middle. There's the windmill. I like how they handle the different elevations as well. So, there are cliffs in the game, as I mentioned. Cliffs are kind of forced height differences. Like here, there's always going to be a height difference. You can't build a building across it, but for example here, this is like a smooth slope. So you can build a building across this slope and it can still count as one building. But obviously once you've made the building itself is flat. So this end of the building is going to be high up. So the way the game handles that is it will raise or lower the land to accommodate your building. And each building has like a different elevation changing structure. So the manor farm has this little wall. And then the long houses have this sort of woven wood thing. So quite a lot of detail in the different buildings. I do like. Okay, we need to unlock the forestry deck. Let's do that. Earn 800 points with the forestry deck. Ooh, gold lumberjack, that's a good start. I think it's just random when you get the gold cards. Wow, there is not very much forest on this map. I almost want to build something else before I use my gold lumberjack. Kind of a waste otherwise. Let's do that. So I'll unlock, yeah, forester, and then I'll build a bigger forest, and then I'll put the lumberjack in that one, the gold one. If I build a forest like here, and another one here. Yeah, now this is going over 200. Let's go with that. And that's pretty much all the forestry points we need. There we go. Oh, earn 300 points by placing sawmill. Okay, specifically sawmills. Well, I'll probably do that just here, actually. If the game is going to give me any more sawmills. There we go. Let's expand our forest a little bit. Please give me another sawmill. Thank you. I can get more than that. Have to make sure not to place it next to an existing one, otherwise you lose a lot of points. Need to place more lumberjacks first, and then sawmills, I think. Yeah, so the problem is placing the lumberjack on top of a forest. You gain 10 points for the lumberjack, but you lose 5 points from the forest. So it doesn't actually make that much difference. That's okay. We just need one more. Okay. Now we need to place the breweries. So there is a building that you can make out of the brewery. No, not that one. Yeah, this one. We don't have the other building that you need for it yet. Ah, no, there's two. Yeah, there's that one, which I think is the... I think that's the distillery. But there's also this. This is like a hop plantation, I think. So that's a brewery and 3 gatherer huts. We'll go and place this over by the berries. Yeah, vineyard. There we go. This is the vineyard. Which is also just a fruit farm. It's just that the fruit is grapes. And oh, that brewery wasn't actually gold rated, by the way. So that didn't count towards my quest. Never mind. The good thing about the vineyard is it gives you 2 hop fields. Hop fields actually score really well. It's like 60 points just for being next to a brewery. And yeah, they also get points from all these other things. So it's like a free 170 points just for creating a vineyard. Oh, we have another keep upgrade. I think this is the first time we bought 5 packs, so let me show you the next level of keep. We have decided that stone walls are better than wooden ones. Also, these signposts are in very strange places. I still think our moat is a little bit puny. Like, come on, surely we can have a proper moat. I realise that, you know, you're constrained by the design space, you can't go outside the hexagons. But there's all this space here, they could have enlarged the moat. Because right now, I mean, these guys could just jump over the moat. In fact, they could probably step over the moat. This is not a moat. Also, yeah, like, this doesn't, like, you've got a moat and then the moat is on top of the wall. Like, the moat would be down here. This is just not how you build a defensive structure. I'm sorry, but it's very pretty, but it's not realistic. So, oh, I need to change my banner. I might have unlocked a better emblem by now. Such as a flower or a bestagon. Great ox mill. Oh yeah, ox mill. Right, ox mill. You need cows and you need a windmill. Yeah, this one. So this is another large building. You place 1 wheat field, 1 new cow, and 1 windmill. You get this thing. Using and cattle power instead of wind power. And that other deck, I'm sure there'll be a quest to do this at some point, so I'll just do the quest now. The other deck we just got is the wetlands deck. This is actually one of my favourite decks. There is a strategy that I found where you can play with just the wetlands deck. I called it the Shrek strategy because you just build in swamp the entire time, because that's where the wetlands deck scores the most. So you can put 3 herbalists next to each other. That makes a herb garden. This is probably one of my favourite buildings on account of garden and herbs. But then there is also a building where you combine a herbalist with 2 breweries. I need more breweries for that. One brewery. That's 2 breweries. Okay, I should probably try and have these breweries be gold rated as well, since that's literally a quest. Yeah, so I can put them next to this existing vineyard. Oh, I can't have them both be gold rated because you lose 40 points for putting a brewery next to an existing one. Okay, fruit vineyard. Let me figure this out. I put another vineyard over there. That's almost. Okay, I need more. I need more berries. Let me just place these here to get myself some berries, and then put the berries here. Now my brewery is gold rated, even though it's next to other breweries. And then I can do this. And that makes a liquor distillery. I think this is about the most advanced building we've made so far. Look, we've got these big distilling things. I don't know the proper word for them. This building definitely looks a lot later. I mean, I suppose, yeah, this one does as well. It's a little bit anachronistic, this game. Like, this building and this building are obviously much later style than, for example, our keep, which is still using wooden walls and timber framed houses. But that's okay. Still a nice building. Also, they have this interesting overhead gantry for moving the barrels around. Not sure what they do with the barrel when they moved it. We haven't invented vehicles to place the barrel on. That gave us more hop fields. So I just need to place one more gold-rated brewery. Okay, I'm sure I can do that. Yes, I can. Okay, create one more vineyard. I can do that right here. I need to create some more ox mills. Oh, and a smock mill. Yes, I keep forgetting about this one. So the smock mill, that requires the final foodstuff unlock. Which is not the butcher, that's the third one. Butcher, unsurprisingly, likes to be next to hunting cabins and also cattle pastures. But it doesn't like to be next to predators, so none of these hunting cabins are actually very good places for it. Put it here, and it's sort of between two, and it's a bit happier then. Yeah, the smock mill. Where is the smock mill? Oh, it's this one. Yes. This is a thing we haven't unlocked yet, so we need to get to it. Smock mill. I need more cows. That's what I need. Cattle pasture. Wait. Windmill. Once again, I'm trying to build this and leave gaps so that we can put other buildings in there later. I'm not really planning ahead like you would need to on a weekly challenge or something. I'm just sort of going with the flow. Okay, has that unlocked? No, it hasn't. How many more points do we need? If I place another building, it should tell me. Let's build another brewery. Because they are macho points. Okay. We need another 905 points to unlock the final food stuff, which is the bakery. I guess we'd better get going then. Do these count? Do these hops count towards food stuff? Ah, they don't. Okay, so this is a good source of points, but they're not. It's not a good source of food stuff points because they're not foodstuffs. That is awkward. I mean, I'll still take them. They're good points. Okay, any more? 800 more. Gold brewery. That's what I'm talking about. 355 points. Can I do better? Probably. Maybe there's a swamp over here. If there wasn't a swamp over there, I could build a bunch more stuff. Yeah, let me put it here, but build some more here first. I need a normal brewery. There we go. That. Pop fields in, and then, yeah, how much is this going to be now? Yeah, 300 and, oh, that's 390 now. Okay, I'll put it there. 390 points. Right, so only another 300 to go. That definitely helped us. Yeah, I do need to... Can I place a hunting cabin somewhere that only has deer and not predators? Because then I can place a butcher next to it. And not lose all my points. There? Okay, yeah, that's not bad. The other thing I can do is butcher some cattle. I don't really want to. It might be the best source of points. Okay, nobody look. Okay, we're very close now. One more brewery ought to do it. There we go. We have unlocked the bakery. So, this game doesn't explicitly have cheese in it as such, but we have cows, therefore we have milk. We have bakeries. I feel like I feel like cheese exists in this universe because it would just be silly not to have it. So yeah, the smock mill is windmill plus wheat field plus bakery, which gets points from windmills and ox mills and farmsteads and all these other buildings. To give smock mill, which has this really fancy 6-bladed windmill with like cloth blades instead of wooden ones. This is a more conventional windmill, at least in Europe. I believe this is closer to a Japanese design. It's very, very cool. I like it. Because not only is it windmill, but it is also hexagon. Hexagonal windmill on hexagonal tiles. What could possibly be bester? Alhuno says, I heard that and now wondering if Emma plays Stardew Valley. I'm not actively playing it at the moment, but I have played it in the past. And yes, Stardew Valley is very much a vegetarian view of farming. Not vegan, because you can keep cows and chickens and ducks, but you can only get milk and eggs from them. You can't get meat. The creator of Stardew Valley decided it was going to be a vegetarian universe. Apart from oddly rabbit's feet. In Stardew Valley you can keep rabbits and their feet fall off and you can harvest them, and that's apparently still vegetarian. So there we go. So the smock mill is good, not only because it looks amazing, it also clears out grass for 2 tiles around it, and it gives you a granary, which benefits from all of these buildings, so that's another 200 points. So this is a very nice building. Alhuno says the game will be 10 years old, one person working on it. Yes, it's amazing how much content has been added to Stardew over the years. I haven't played it for quite a while. I believe there's some new stuff since I last played it. It's one of those games that I wouldn't play on stream just because it takes so long. Realistically, if you're playing Stardew Valley and you have a work schedule, you can only do 1 or 2 in-game days. I think at one point I managed to play 1 in-game week per actual day, so I could play 1 in-game month per actual week, and 1 in-game year per actual month. So it took me multiple months to finish a game, even playing every day. And it's like, well, that's probably too much time investment to replay it anytime soon. But maybe one day, with all the new content, I will. That's very true. Yes, I suppose, Tibago, you would have to more accurately describe it as pescatarian because you eat fish. That is very true. You do eat fish in Stardew, but you don't eat beef or chicken, despite being able to keep chickens and cows. Can you eat the bug meat? I think you... Actually, no, you can eat the bug meat, can't you? Okay, what's a word that's like pescatarian but refers to someone who eats fish and insects but not mammals? Is there a word for that? Okay, unlock workmanship deck. This is not one we've had before. Let's go take a quick look at our keep. See what it changes to. You're going to pop up in the way of mine. There we are. Ah, very nice. Finally, we are building the walls completely out of stone. We've also gone and found some much nicer limestone to use instead of whatever we were using before. Yes, very fancy. And also, we actually have something vaguely resembling a moat rather than a puddle now. I still don't think this moat is... It doesn't look very deep. But we do have a moat. We have a proper moat. We have a signpost that is in the moat for some reason. We have a little courtyard. Just evaluating this as a defensive structure. I mean, it's certainly an improvement on the previous one. Typically, with a boundary wall like this, you would have crenellations like this all the way around, because like these ramparts here are not doing much, because like an attacker would just be like, well, okay, then we'll attack from this side. You would want to have a path all the way around here at wall height, and you would want to have this type of wall. This wall is not doing anything, so attackers could just wander up here and stand next to this wall, and you wouldn't be able to shoot at them from up here. They could just breach this wall in their own time, and so the entire moat drawbridge setup is kind of useless. The inner keep is okay. This bit makes sense. You have the nice windows with the slits, and the big windows are behind defensive line. Yeah, this is a decent castle. Why it's been placed in the middle of a quarry, I'm not sure. I was going to put houses around it, and then the game never asked me to build houses. Earn points by playing pottery. Yes, that's right. We unlocked the workmanship deck, which has things like potters and carpenters and other such buildings. These are more sort of late game buildings. They score a lot of points, but they require other things to be built first. Like a carpenter won't score any points on its own. You need to have sawmills and lumberjacks and stuff, which of course we do have. But that's all the quests, so I will finish that one there. There is another scenario that fully explores the workmanship deck. Wow, lots of extra points this time. How are we doing for time? Okay, I think I'll probably end it there for today. We've only got 20 minutes left. So next stream I will continue with the scenarios. We've done 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've done 5 and we've got 8 more, but I'll probably do a bit less explanation for the remaining ones. So we can probably get through most, if not all, of those in one stream. Once I do finish all the scenarios, I will move on to the puzzles. I'll just quickly show you. This is the puzzle menu. So each of these levels, these are much smaller levels than the scenarios we've been doing. You basically have a level, sometimes with pre-placed buildings, but the level is carefully designed and you are given a set of cards. You can't draw any more cards. And you have to reach a certain score with those cards. This was actually my favourite part of the game, but I made the mistake of playing the puzzle levels first. And some of the puzzles require you to create the large buildings. And because I hadn't done the scenarios, I didn't know how to create the large buildings, so it was a bit confusing. So I'm doing the scenarios first because that's a more natural way of doing it. But I will show you the puzzles as well. And I'll also play the Ancient Egypt. This should be releasing fairly soon. Originally they announced it for like the end of last year, and then they said there was going to be a delay. But the Steam page is still saying releasing Q1 2026, and we're halfway through Q1 2026 already. So I feel like it ought to release soon. So we've definitely got quite a few streams worth of content for this game. But yes, I'm going to leave it there for today. So thank you to everybody for watching. We had a lot of stuff today, didn't we? Thank you so much to, in no particular order, Rooney for the resub, Hurricane for the resub, Rooney for the raid, Danny for the resub, Verdsky for the resub, Elfie for the resub, Harry for 100 bits, Izzy for 100 bits, 53 New Wave for the gift sub, Ren for 5 gift subs, which is incredibly generous, Alex for 100 bits, LT Bago for 100 bits, Harry for another 100 bits, Sarah with Stars for 200 bits, Izzy for the sub, Ren for the sub, Sarah with Stars for the raid, Alex for the gift sub, and Harry for the resub. That's the longest list we've had, I think, possibly in all of the Emma stream. Except for that time that Mike Coroni gifted like 50 subs. That was that was a bit crazy. I suppose it's partly because I didn't stream last week. Everybody's sub renewals had built up because they couldn't do them last week. I do apologise for not doing last week's stream. Although I am very, very busy at work, I am trying to get one stream in a week. I'd rather do 2 or 3. I'm trying to get one in. It's more likely to be Sunday than Friday because I'm having to work late Friday sometimes at the moment. But it will be either Sunday or Friday next week. Next week is usually the single busiest... Well, next weekend. The last week of February is normally the busiest time. So it's like end of next week and into the week after. I will probably have to work next weekend, but I will still try to make space for a stream because I need some kind of contrast to my work. So it will be great to see you all then, if I can, and we will play some more Terror. Harry says, best Emma. Thank you, Harry, that's very kind of you. So yeah, you have more Terror to look forward to, but I am going to raid now. If anybody has suggestions for raid targets, please let me know. And I will have a quick look at... no, not at Glassworks on Wikipedia, we've done that. Let's have a look at Twitch. What do we have? Liger. Oh, we have Verdsky. Okay. Because I never get to raid Verdsky, I think I might raid Verdsky. Normally, Verdsky's stream starts at about 1 AM my time because she is Canadian and time zone differences. Since Verdsky is live, I think that's pretty much an automatic raid. Verdsky is having a special February foodie date stream. So for the first time ever that I can remember, she's not starting the stream with a crossword. The crossword will be nighttime European time, but those of you who are around a bit later, definitely stick around to see the crossword. There is a Verdsky online, yes. Thank you, T-Bago, as I did notice. Let's do raid to Verdsky. I will give you a message to say in the chat when we go into Verdsky's stream. If you are subscribed, here is a message for you to use. If you are not subscribed, use any emotes you like. Use your own emotes. Use someone else's emotes that you follow or are sub to. But if you're not sure, there are some dancing dinosaurs for your consideration. Please send my love to Verdsky, who is best Canadian streamer, apart from all the other Canadian streamers. I know so many Canadian streamers and hardly any American streamers. I'm not sure why. I think it's just because Canadians are awesome people. Harry has his own version of the message. Yes, please feel free to substitute any flowers you like. Rooney says thank you for the lovely stream. Thank you for being here, Rooney. I will see you again either Friday or Sunday. I'll let you know in the Discord as always. Until then, thank you for watching and bye for now.